that would indicate that at least I have sound on. And if you can't hear me, obviously you won't be able to answer it. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. So today I want to talk a little bit about magic items. Okay? And of course, whatever questions that you have on the topic and off, you are more than welcome to relay. But that is something I want to talk about. How many of you watched or have read the role play with Star, Trinity, and the Purple Dragon yesterday? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, okay. So it hasn't been posted, so some of you were there, and it will be posted. But the reason I bring it up is because she opened up a crate, ancient wooden box that had a variety of information in it that pertained to some magic items. Okay. Yes, and created a major earthquake. It definitely also did that, which indicates that the crate was to say it was trapped might be a understatement. Mm. Or to say that there was definitely a reason why it was sealed. Anyway, I bring it up because since there was a variety of magic items in there, people who were listening would be like, "Okay, well, what good is that?" You know, there was a helmet that has the ability to turn you into a puddle. Like, what good is a helmet that turns you into a puddle? At least, a paper that talked about it. And you'll have to read the role play and then you'll understand it a little bit better. Anyway, point being is that magic items are often more than what they seem. Okay? And you know, there might be more to it than what is obvious. They have to be researched. Even once you acquire an item and figure out what its basic use is, there might be more to it than that. Okay. Now, obviously, items that you create or that are created for you by another player, be it an artificer, archmage, high priest. There you go. And items that are but items that are artifacts, okay, might be more than what they seem to be. Uh, Jalil Orthorius brought to my attention the other day that people are role playing with, and that's a great thing. the items that they have acquired from the deep roads or from the loot crates, because there's a lot of things that can be used. Go ahead. Yes, post your thought. She brought to my attention a ring of featherfall that someone had created, or the components to do so. And that is decent, okay? And featherfall, okay, any magic item that you have is going to be not just a simple thing. So let's look at see what she has. Yes, and that is good. That is good. Yep. Rika, yeah, that is okay. Thank you for bringing that up. thank, thank you for bringing that up. That brings up Cantino, the magic pants, because Rika got some magic pants from Cantino the other day, and boots. That is very, very true. And artifact level are automatically going to be permanent items. Okay. A lot of things that you acquire are going to have uses. You know, you you get something, you get a ring. Okay. Let's say the ring of featherfall because we were talking about earlier. Um, the chances are it might have, maybe a dozen uses to it, but you don't know that. So you're out there with your ring of featherfall, and the 13th use it suddenly stops working. Okay, it's like, oh no. Okay, well, you know, there was no way you could figure out uh, how many uses are in it. Um, at least not on any normal standard way to do it. There are ways, but yes, Wile E. Coyote scene. That's well put. you you jump off the cliff and think, okay, I'm good, and then you fall. Hopefully you're not carrying an anvil, because then that would hurt even more. It would fall at the same rate as you because gravity is gravity, but it would hurt a lot once you both hit. Yes. Now the spell permanent that she's talking about, permanency, the spell permanent is a max level mage spell. Okay. In Dungeons and Dragons, that would have been a ninth level spell, which means you have to be, in our world, you would have to be 18th level to cast it. Now, there are no players that are 18th level. Okay. The That will tell you that it has to be a tall Maru, Nargaroth, or myself that can cast permanency. Okay. You also that would also include Cantino and a current Magus, which there are none. Magus Emeritus is the step below because you give up a level when you leave your post. I still keep you powerful. Okay. Emeritus does not mean that you have lost all of your power, but you have stepped down. Uh, so you do lose a level in that regard because as everyone knows, with great power comes great responsibility, and that is vice versa. If you are taking the responsibility for an act, then you get the power level to go with it. That is why if a archetype is running a guild, I'll tell you one second here. Yeah, Cantino is artifacts. I'll tell you one. I'll answer that in 1 second. That is why if a guild leader is more powerful than the associated archetype. Let's say you have two archmages. All right. Now archmage is max level, right? Okay, but the guild leader is actually a level above the associated archmage because they have taken on the responsibility of being a guild leader. The same thing goes with uh, magistrate, okay, or mages. You know, you don't lose everything that you have gained, but since you are not taking the leadership role, then you step into emeritus. Okay. Does that all make sense? Okay, excellent. Now, with that said, then in order to cast permanency, you need to be magus level or above. Okay, and that does include Cantino. Cantino is magus level. He is not a leader as far as running a guild. Okay, but the he is my familiar. Okay, and as a familiar, your familiar is always two levels below you. Okay, so whatever level you are, your familiar is two levels below that. Okay, all right. Now, if they happen to be a mage, like Cantino, that can be pretty brutal. Okay, and he is also, if you have not figured out, he is also an artificer. Okay, he is a mage and an artificer. He also wanders all the worlds, collecting artifacts. You know, eh, he can fight, all right, but he avoids combat if he can help it. That does not mean he runs away, but he's just not the in your face kind of guy. He's like, all right, okay, you're over here looking at my left hand while I take my right hand and I just stole your magic wand. And now I'm going to head out. I don't need to kill you to take it. All right. Anyway, so yes, Cantino does make artifacts. So anything you get from him is going to be artifact level. And as Bellweller just said, Magister stuff still has to be recharged. Now these items, magic items, they they can be recharged. Okay, so just because the item you have, okay, let's go back to Wile E. Coyote and the Ring of Featherfall. Okay, now if he was keeping that charged, then when he jumped off that cliff, it wouldn't have run out. Okay, um, but hey, things happen, right? So, but if he was keeping that charged, then it wouldn't have run out. You still got to keep those. You still have to keep your artifacts charged, okay? Because magic, just like electricity or any other energy source, runs out. Okay, correct. That is correct, little Orthorius. Dispel magic does not cancel out it does not empty the battery, okay? It just stops the effect, okay? So, well, that was a good thing to bring up. Yeah, there is a way that you can empty the charges on an item, okay? Right? And it is a Magister level spell, okay? And it is not called Dispel Magic, okay? And it is called Empty, okay? It's sometimes just called Cancel. It doesn't even have, you don't even, it's not even Empty Magic or Cancel Magic. It's just Cancel. And depending on the language you're using, it can be just empty, okay? How do you charge them? You go to someone who's powerful enough to cast the spell, and uh, and they cast it into your item. Okay. Yep, that's right. Just like anti-magic shell. Yeah, they just have to be powerful enough to be able to cast the spell. Okay. Um, it doesn't it doesn't really matter what level they are. They just have to be powerful enough to cast the spell. But the higher level they are, the more charges they're going to give. Okay. Like, let's say you got a ring of magic missiles. Okay. Which, by the way, is a very powerful item. You're not going to find that. But let's just say you got one. Okay. That is a very low level spell that a mage can cast. So they could put a charge in it. Okay. But a a I think you have to be level 2 to cast magic missile. Maybe because it's a level 1 spell. But anyway, let's say you're level 2. So you can put a charge on it, okay? Well, when you as you go as you get up in levels, you can put more charges on it. Magister is probably going to be able to put in 12 charges on it, something like that, roughly. Okay, and they're going to be the highest level person that can do that. Okay, aside from myself or Maru or Nargra, Cantino. Uh, but you get my point. Okay, you get my point. The higher level they are, the more charges they're going to be able to put on it. Okay, they won't be able to go past the max. Okay, all right. Now there's a spell for that too, but it's not one that most people are going to have access to. So not even a point to discuss it, but until it comes up. Okay. Now, Bale Waller just came up with actually just brought up a good point. is that there is a thing called the rule of three. Okay? If you use the rule of three, then that is going to also increase the max. Okay? Um, or the number of charges that they can add. Okay? And if you use that rule of three, and is along with an artificer, for example, then you're going to increase the power level of the overall item that you're working on. Okay, and let's take this a step further. If you have a spell sword or a arcane archer, now does anyone know what those two classes? What do they have that no one else has? Belados, Thorn. Yes, that's right. They have the ability to pull magic mana out of the world through their body and give it to someone else. Okay? Or use it for their own good, whatever. Okay? Mana is still correct. It can kill them though. Okay? Uh, spell swords and arcane archers can kill themselves by giving all of their energy. It can kill them. But it does increase the power level of uh, a spell that's being cast, and that goes with making magic items also. Okay, yeah, there is all of those things are potentially true. Okay, Star is an arcane archer. Okay, uh, Nifredel is a spell sword. Okay, so those are two examples of active of current players that can do that. Um, does anyone know what that is called? Thaumaturgy. Yes, that is correct. Yep, it is thaumaturgy. And yes, the paragons are that follow those still have those abilities. Eldritch Knight, one of the most, arguably one of the most battle heavy uh, paragons out there because they basically create a lightsaber. Okay, an, an Eldritch Knight takes all their mana and runs it through their sword, so they have a mana blade that is effectively a lightsaber. So yes, they definitely can do that as well. Okay, now I have you know thrown out little bits of random information here, and that brings up another very very good point, and I'm glad you said it because I was eventually going to get to it anyway. Hopefully, in theory, Metallica orbs. Okay, Metallica orbs. What do we know about Metallica orbs? Uh-huh. Okay. That is correct. They are power sources fueled by souls. Okay. They are, they're effectively soul gems, but more than that. Okay. They are soul gems. Okay. Or at least they contain a soul gem. So we know there are mana gems and there are soul gems. Okay. Both of those contain exactly what they sound like, and they are used as power sources for one thing or another. Okay. They are basically batteries. Okay. And if an item is set up, yes, that is correct. If an item is set up so that it uses a soul gem or a mana gem, then you already know that you could just trade out. It's like trading out batteries. Okay. And th- there will be some things like that. Not everything is going to be like that, but some things will be. And yes, the fallen star is a dark sun that fell out of the sky. And inside the fallen star is a massive soul gem. Okay. In the chest of a metallic eye is their metallic eye core. Inside of that metallic eye core is a soul gem. Okay. Does that all make sense? And uh, the statement about you can't just cut them out is accurate. You cannot just cut out a metallic orb. They have been embedded in there for a reason. Soul magic is very tricky. Okay, that is very true. And both necromancers and shaman deal in souls already. So they have a penchant for those kind of things. Nope, Metallica orbs are not plug and play. And yes, on the divine side of the house, there are, you know, depending on the deity, if particularly a death god, is going to deal in souls. Not all clerics are going to be doing that, okay? But there are, depending on the deity in question, they can also deal in souls. Yes, a death cleric is going to be doing that. Okay. Okay. That's a good question there, Jill Orthurius. It would be easier to have it be a charged item because you know, charged items are going to be player made, okay? And you can set it up so that when they go past gate is pretty powerful, okay? But um, Blink, even though it is an awesome spell, is more effective, you know. So if you put Blink into a pair of bracers with Magic Mouth, okay, if you if you enchant a pair of bracers with Magic Mouth and Blink, so that because Magic Mouth is set up with parameters, and so whenever these parameters are crossed, or whatever it happens to be, then it speaks the last word, and then it casts Blink, and you are sent back to where you were before. Okay, does that make sense? By the way, that when I was many moons ago, when I was a young player with Gary, my favorite thing to do, long before I could was powerful enough to make actual magic items, was to go around it and use things like magic mouth. It was it's a very effective low level way to get around magic items. You know, does that make sense? Um, Usually, when you run across the dungeon master that uh, has some knowledge of that, you know, there might be magic mouth set up on a wall or a door or anything. But you know what? There are no rules that say you cannot put it on an item. Yep. Magic mouth is way underused. Okay. One of my favorite spells. Magic mouth, grease. That's that was also as a player was another of my favorite spells. And ventriloquism is also awesome. Yes. And Mage Hand. That combination, okay? And Burning Hands, okay? Now, the old version back when I played, it's not like the new one, which causes a lot of damage. It's like, what? That's not how it was designed. That's weird. Okay? I would change that to uh, Fire Spray because it doesn't fall into Burning Hand like it used to. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, point being is that there are ways to, as a low level mage, to still help people and give them magic items without actually being high enough level to make them a permanent event. Okay? Maybe one use, okay? But hey, that's more than zero, right? Okay. So anyway, back to Cantino. Yes, Rika has a few magic items from him from from over time. Okay, and if you happen to be a player out here that has encountered Cantino and got something from him, okay, then you have a permanent magic item. Okay, yeah. When it comes to thorium, that has a for you shapeshifters, because there's a lot of us out there, including myself. Um, then that can cause a lot of negatives. Okay. All right. Before I move forward, because there are a couple things I want to bring up. Are there? There's a lot of bit of questions have been thrown out there. Are there any particular other questions that I have not answered yet that is are on your mind? That things that I have said have brought up? Okay, max charge. Depending on the item, okay, because on what the max charge is going to be. Um, when you're talking about a ring, okay, a ring is going to fall under the clothing line, okay. Clothes, armor, cloaks and stuff like that. That may be up to 20, okay. But um, other things, like say a wand, okay, wands, amulets, um, medallions, brooches, uh, hairpins, things like that. Okay, they're going to be, maybe a dozen. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, when you're looking at your magic item, how you can be able to tell uh, where where it where it falls in the range. You say, all right, what's its function? If it's an item of clothing, like a pair of pants, like right this pair of pants, or boots, okay, then its max is probably like 20, okay. But if it's a jewelry item, if it's a costume item, like you know, like a brooch or a cloak pin, it probably the max is probably a dozen, okay. A cloak would fall under clothing, so we'd go up to 20 because some people, you know, historically speaking, cloaks were often blankets that you wore. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense there. You um, a helmet is going to fall under armor. Okay, um, a hat is probably fall under cosmetic. Like jewelry. Let's see. Um, a weapon. Okay, a weapon is probably you know if it's under those circumstances, could be up to 30. Excuse me. Okay. Depends on how it's set up, but basically, yes. Now, if it's a major artifact, okay, if it's a major artifact, then it's going to be permanent, okay? Example, if you run across a bag of holding, okay? Bag of holding is not something that any player is ever going to be able to make. You know, you may be able to come up with, I have, as a player, I came up with my own versions, which many, many moons ago, of course. And those are short term and wouldn't really qualify as a bag of holding. But if you come across a bag of holding, that is a major artifact and does not have charges. Okay. That is, you're never going to have to worry about stuff that you put into a bag of holding disappearing because it is a permanent item. Unless it's cut, then it's destroyed. Okay. Uh, a weapon that is a major artifact will never need to be recharged. Okay. That brings up another point. Okay. Some metals are inherently magic, and the pluses that they give are they you don't lose the charges. That they don't have charges. They have they have the pluses because of the metal. Okay. Yes. Mithril, adamantine, and orichalcum are all automatically +2 metals. Okay. No matter what, and that's without any enchantments. Okay. That is just the metal itself. Okay. And if you enchant it, it goes beyond that. Okay. Copper. Okay. Now, copper itself doesn't have any pluses, but the thing about copper is it's highly enchantable. Okay. It is the core element that is required for uh, making any batteries. Okay. If you want to make if you want to make a battery of any variety, you need copper. Okay. But itself doesn't have any bonus, have any hardness bonuses, etc., etc. But with but all batteries uh, require copper. Okay. Actually, that would be lyrium, but you're not wrong. Rod of absorption does require lyrium. Lyrium, in case you didn't know, is a metal that absorbs magic. Okay. So a rod of absorption would definitely have be made of lyrium, or at least parts of it. Okay, great. All right. As far as As far as all of that goes, you know, the those are the top metals. So those are all +2. Okay. Some of your other, you know, and I might add that the alloys of those metals, if they contain two of them, it's a it's they retain the +2. An alloy of those metals that only retains one, contains one of those metals, but contains another kind of metal as well, becomes a +1. Okay. So let's say you have a orichalcum and dwarven steel hammer. Okay. The metal itself makes it +1. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. And all other metals are 0. Okay. All right. And some of them are super soft, like copper. Okay. Copper would be a -1 as far as that goes. Okay. It is required for all magic for ma for magic batteries and lots and lots of stuff. But as far as armor goes, it is a -1 as far as your armor class. Okay. Soft metals. Gold is the same way. Gold is soft, you know? Okay, go ahead. Jadal Authorius. Orathorius, my apologies. I'm stumbling over my tongue today. Both bookworms and mimics can be quite brutal. Okay, the hoons and magic items. What are the connections, if any? Okay, the hoons are magic items. Oh, the hoons are artifacts. Okay, they are uh, an ancient piece of the old world that uh, broke off and are here. Okay, magisters are people. Okay, so the hoons would not be magisters. No. Okay, magisters are people. They are the chosen avatars of the three moons. Oh, magister level, as far as imbuing items, if you have the ability to harness the magic from a home, you would have to be magister level yourself, okay, to do that, okay? But as far as, or artificers, yes, you know, but the Hoon level is Magus level, okay? At, but you would have to be magister level or an artificer of high level. to actually use it. Okay. The hoons are realm affecting items. Okay. They are a piece of the old world. They are that when the elves crossed over into this world, Terra, they came with them. Okay. They are um, big crystal rocks. Okay. For lack of a better word. They are pieces of the old world. Meteors, comets. Comet is made of ice, so meteor would be a better word. That crash landed on the planet, and that's why there are a few here. Yes, like, yes, kind of, but since they don't have even though they have alignment, they don't have intellect like deities do. That's essentially true. The Hoon is connected to the Queen. Her alignment and the Hoon's alignment are directly connected to one another. Uh, do the Hoons have spheres of influence? Not, well, more so than they do schools, I suppose you could say. Um, but sphere of influence indicates uh, I suppose you could say that, yes, because the type of energy that you can draw from them depends entirely upon the alignment of the home. And so, yeah, I guess sphere of influence would be effective because let's say that you had a black home. I not that I've ever seen a black home, but let's just say that you had one. Now, it would radiate death magic. So energy that you drew from it would be entirely necromantic. Okay. Yes, absolutely. If if the hoon helps you make a magic item, it would be an alignment item. Absolutely. Okay. Nif will. He's already said that he will. He'll post YouTube as long as the videos are sent to him. Okay. Does that make sense? And also, in answer to your question, Jalea, the Hoon in Sovara, since it is aligned to Valshar's Coyote, would repel Death Knights and beings of evil alignment. Okay, you would not be able to get close to it. I believe all the realms have a home. You know, you simply couldn't get close to it if you are not of the proper alignment. Um, the nocturnal crystal in Ru would be its own home because they are, you know, meteor shards from the home planet, from a lack of a better word. you know, okay, okay. Um, I'm not sure if Valsharis Coyote is uh, sitting there at this particular moment in time, but okay, excellent. Did you get the role play? There goes the neighborhood. That is the name of the role play that I did with Star and Trinity and the Deep Dragon. Okay. After she looks it over, then she'll post it, and then everyone will have it. The reason I have said that is because again of the magic items that are listed on the papers, and I want to give you guys some concepts that you can look at and say, what's going on here? Okay, okay. Now, all right. So back to magic items. Artifact level items. Sometimes they won't make any sense. Okay, you know. Okay, has anyone familiar with the spoon that turns everything it digs into blackberry pie? I don't remember who has it right now, but that is an artifact level item. Okay, and you can dig it into cement, concrete, no matter what it is. Okay, you dig it into it, and it becomes blackberry pie. Okay, and there are a few items of similar nature. Okay? It does applies to, yep, it does apply to people. Anything. If you, but it is a spoon. Okay? Yep, a chocolate version of that? That would be interesting, of course. That's true. If you happen to be the type of person that has no qualms with chomping somebody down, you could do it that way. You're right. But that is that is a true magic item. And there's a cup out there that everything that you pour into that cup turns into wine. Okay, no matter what it is, okay, it turns into red wine, into a merlot. No matter what you put into it, whether it be water, blood, uh, milk, anything that goes into that cup turns into merlot. Okay, and that is another artifact level item. Okay, so this is an important aspect is that most major magic items are role play. Okay, most major magic items are role play items. They're not ones that are super effective on the battlefield, but there are exceptions, obviously, you know, because you can enchant armor, okay, to do uh, to have more power than it does. Okay, does anyone know what the max enchantment you can have on, uh, no matter what, collectively, not just on a single item, but collectively on your meter, completely maxed out, no matter what you're wearing? Correct, it is 5, okay? It is 5. No matter what you've got, whether you have, you know, let's say you've got adamantine plate armor, okay, that has been enchanted by Cantino, okay? No matter how many pluses you've got, the max you can have is 5, okay? Always keep that in mind. And if it's non-magic, the max you can have is 3, okay? In order to get those other 2 points, then you have to have a magic item to give that boosts it up there. But even with magic, you can't go past 5. Let's say you're like Nifredel and you've been collecting magic items for 10 years. All right, you know, because he's got the or uh, who's our player has the cloak that eats people? Does anybody remember? Nope. Nif Nif's cloak uh, is a murder of crows. Zaskia. Yep, she's got it. Zaskia's cloak eats people. Okay, and it's a +5 cloak, okay? No matter what else he wears, no matter what else he wears, his armor class is never going to go past that. 5 is the max you can have. He could be standing there in his birthday suit. All he has on is this cloak, and his armor class is still going to be 5. Okay? No matter what. Okay? Uh, Melrena is the same way. She has a cloak that is also +5. Okay? No matter what she wears her, or doesn't, her armor class is 5 as long as she has the cloak. Yes, she does. She got it from Cantino. And yes, just like the scarf that you have, Rika, no matter what else you wear, that your scarf is going to give you chainmail armor class. Okay, because 5 is the max, and that's only if you have magic. Okay, if you don't have magic, then your armor class is maximum of 3. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, that it doesn't matter how many items you have. You could have, you know, let's say let's go back to Nif because he's the uh, magic item collector. Let's say that he has +5 boots, +3 cloak, um, +2 sword, um, +1 armor, +2 +2 brooch, +1 hat. It doesn't matter. Okay, all of those things. Okay, no matter what, 5 is the best you can get. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Does anyone know why that is? That's correct. All of those are correct. It's it's because anything above that is going to OP the meter and make it impossible to do anything to you. Yep, we have it capped. Yes, that is both armors. That is correct. 5 is the best you can get. You know, if you if you're completely maxed out, you could have 5 magic and 5 AC, 5 magic resistance and 5 AC. That's completely maxed. Okay, and that is why, generally speaking, that's we it doesn't happen. You have to have a lot of things in order to make that happen. Okay. 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 Yes, plants can be resurrected. And why can they? Because they're alive. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Uh, that covers a lot of things. Uh, just like anything else, you know, things. Most most mortal things can die. Actually, every mortal thing can die. That is what mortality means. Okay. Averial has the spoon. So now you guys know. Is she? Are you in the room right now? No, I don't think you are. Okay. But yes, that is an artifact level item. Okay. And like I said earlier, bag of holding, artifact level item. Major the major artifacts, yes, there's also a fork. The major artifacts are not always combat items. Okay, they are things that serve another function. Okay. Now, can you weaponize that kind of a idea? Yeah, yeah. Most of the time you can, but not always. But they are designed for a different function. Yes, that's correct. The pie, yeah, it's called the blackberry spoon. Okay, and yeah, you can definitely weaponize it, but that wasn't its original intention. Its original intention is there was a mage that liked blackberry pie a lot, and he did not have access to that. So he made his spoon so that every time he chomp into something, that's what he got. Okay. And most magic items, that's how and why they were designed. Okay. The bag of holding was originally designed the because a mage needed a way to carry stuff, and they didn't have a horse or a donkey to to carry their loot away. So they enchanted their bag so that it could hold more stuff in it. And bam, next thing you know, we got the bag of holding. Okay, and the bag of miniature items. That was one of my contributions to Dungeons and Dragons, like many, many moons ago, that I made. And that was essentially one of the reasons why I did it. Okay. Wand of Wonder is also mine. But bag of miniature items is like, okay, we just defeated a dragon, and there's no way we can. We'll never get out of here with this loot. It'll take us a year, you know, to uh to load carts with gold. And yes, you can eat with the blackberry pie spoon because if you put it in your mouth, it negates the powers. And that's also how you can defeat the blackberry pie spoon. You spit on it, because that it loses its power if it comes in contact with saliva. Yeah. Okay. Belladostia Roxley, go ahead and take care of business. We will talk to you soon. No, that is a bag of miniature items. The bracelet, the charm bracelet you're talking about, that's an entirely different thing. Okay. Bag of miniature items is basically a bag of holding that sucks things into it like a vacuum cleaner, and everything that goes into it turns into a little marble. Okay. And it just, and your bag just gets filled with marbles, and you can reach into it and throw out a marble, and it becomes whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, like a Pokeball. That's funny. Yeah, long before Pokeballs even existed. It was funny. That was a dark elf that created a bag of miniature items, because that was me in 1979, and I was, you know, had I was a dark elf, even though dark elves didn't exist in D&D yet. Now the charm bracelet, that's an entirely different thing. That is also an artifact, and it is exactly what it sounds like. For all of you who are old enough to remember charm bracelets, they don't really exist nowadays anymore, but some of us remember them. They got little things. It's a bracelet with all these little objects hanging on them. Okay. Well, there is a magic charm bracelet, and it is called the charm bracelet. And you pull off a thing, and whatever you pulled off of there, it becomes. Okay, whether it's a sword or a house or a horse or a monkey, whatever is on your charm bracelet, that's what it becomes. Because you know, I'm not good with doing an Irish accent, or I would just roll out with, you know, they're always after me, Lucky Charms. You know, because there you go. Yep, that is true. Uh, you know, Desi has all the miniatures. Okay, all the miniatures that become people. That is again, you know, things you get from Cantino are artifact level. Most of them are going to be, maybe all, but most of them are going to be uh, major artifacts. Okay. Okay. Any other thing? Okay. Okay. Now, in the case of the bag of miniature items, yes, the marbles, when you throw them out, they become what they originally were. Let's say that you pulled a house into your bag. Obviously, a house won't fit into a bag of holding, but it will into a bag of miniature items. When you throw that back out, it's a house again. Okay. Charm bracelet, um, that is the same way. Okay. But once the charm bracelet is empty, it's empty. Okay. You just have a certain number of charms on your bracelet, and then once it's empty, it's empty. But um, new charms are. It's not that they can't be found because those do exist. That's something that you probably have to see Cantino for them. But you might find them in the deep roads for your lyrium or that you got at the last AER. Yep, I can do that. You got 5. Answer to your lyrium or you got 5. Okay. Talk about the bag of miniature items. Yes. Yeah, you can pull it back out. Totally. You can throw it out. Okay, let's say uh you got a horse. Okay, pull it in, and then now you have a marble that was a horse. You throw it back out, it's a horse again. You can suck it right back out. Suck it right back in. Yes, that's not a problem. Bag of miniature items is actually very useful and effective, and it is extremely powerful. It is a, it is a major artifact. It can only hold like 20 things. Okay, 20 marbles, because it's a bag of marbles, right? You know, but it is pretty darn powerful. You know, like carrying a vacuum cleaner on your hip. But the charm bracelet is also all. Yeah, that's right. The galaxy on Orion's belt. That's hilarious. That came out probably 20 years after I made that item, but as that is very correct. The answer to the another thing to about the charm question is there are there are these little rings, okay? And if you have the charm rings, anything that you have uh, linked to the charm rings, you can do that with again, okay? Yeah, see, a charm bracelet can have like a dozen things on it, okay? The charm bracelet, they both can be emptied, okay? You know, it just depends on how you know, on what you're doing with it, you know. But on the charm bracelet, each charm has a little circular ring on it, okay? And as long as you don't break the ring, you can put your thing back on it. If you break the ring, then you won't be able to put it back on, okay? But they can both be emptied regardless. But if you break all the rings off the charm bracelet, then it's just a cool looking thing on your wrist. You don't lose the item, you know, you still have it. You know, it's out, but you can't bring it back. It can't go back into bracelet form. It's just out there. Okay. Yes, Jalil Orthorius is going to be working with Venley Cleverfingers to update the uh, profession skill so that it can help people understand what they can do or you with the things. Because people, you know, you get Arenas feathers and cockatrice scales and things like that. You get those in loot crates or deep road runs, and that it is nice to have an idea of what you can do with those things. And so, you know, Pelly and Venley can to get together and work that out. Okay, I think it'll be good. Any other questions? Da, 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 da. How crazy is that? Oh, I do want to make a quick comment because Pelly has brought it up several times. And even though she's not here, I'm going to bring it up. The Wand of Wonder. Okay. That was a early real life contribution of mine too. Yep. Wand of Wonder. And it is a major artifact. And anything you hit with it becomes a random thing. you know, and it could be anything from a house plant to a bull elephant, you know, and it's a totally dice roll. Yes, that is a deep roads item that I am totally down with. Putting okay. Um, yes, it is a mage item. That is right. Yep, and since I was its original, yep, make it make it dark elven. Yep. Yep, Jabberwock is it, yep, funny. It's just like that. Totally true. It is a amber and copper wand, and it will always look the same no matter what. Okay, and it's all carved weird, but but in some depending on who the artist is. Originally, it was just a smooth piece of uh, amber with in the shape of a wand with a copper hilt. That's what it originally looked like. But it's been drawn since then many, many, many times in so many different versions. Oh, you know the job that ESO Sheagorath's uh, staff was based on the Wand of Wonder. Absolutely, you know it. Because they just wanted less people to take arrows to the knee. That's exactly how it was. You know? Okay, but yeah, that has now been that will now be added to the deep roads. Okay, and for sure. Any other questions? A magic item that makes anti-magic. Well, um, that is something I could see the dwarves doing, you know, but not in not in a wand fashion, you know. I could I could see that in some form of shield, you know. Okay, Rika, if you did record it, drop it to Nif and he will post it to YouTube. And as far as the metal goes, uh, the three mains, or alloys that contain two or more, is +2. An alloy that contains one of the three is +1. Copper is -1, and everything else is 0, standard. Hope that answers your question on the metals. Okay. Okay. Uh, Familiars are 2 levels behind you. Okay. They are, but that doesn't start until you hit. Uh, they're only 1 level behind you until you hit level 3. Okay. Once you start getting higher, like um, let's say that you're Archmage. From Arch from then they're 2 levels behind you. Okay. So does that make sense? So that you're not a okay. All right. Let me clear it up then. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. In the beginning, you guys are closer in level. Okay. In the beginning, you're closer in level. But as you get farther along, your familiars can't quite keep up with you. Okay. They still level. Okay. Automatically, but they can't keep all the way up in your with you. So once you hit um yeah, once you hit basically Archmage and you're level 5, but now that has a new name because under the yes, there we go. Under the new numerical terms, it's 2. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? Does that help a little bit better? The fact that since we switched over to Maxim, it went from 1 to 2. All right, there we go. Because I still think in the old terms. Okay? I still think in the 1 through 5. Okay? But it's not 1 through 5 anymore. So, you know, I haven't even caught up. So how do I expect anyone else to? You know, so I so the easy way for me to do it is to double it. And we should catch professions up with everybody else because it's just so my brain still is in that old terminology. Okay, now I need to slip out for a few moments. You guys are more than welcome to hang out and talk. I actually encourage you to do so because there are um, a vast array of things that could still be discussed. But I need to step out for a moment, and but I'll be back in short order. And if you, I'm not going to log out. I'm just going to go over and sit in my office. If you need to come talk to me, go ahead and do that. I know that I'm going to be meeting with Bale, so he'll be in my office too, and so you can ask questions. Yes, go ahead and stop recording now. Yep. Bella, for your attendance.